Hello everybody! For everyone who is confused as to what the hell they're looking at right now, this is our background distraction while I do the end of year Q&A. It has been almost a whole year of GLUTENSNAKE. This video should hopefully release on December 31st, and I asked my community to ask me a whole bunch of questions that they had, and I would try and reply to them. This is me playing McGinnis against a real person on ladder, and I hope you enjoy the gameplay at least. Anyhow, without further ado, here are the questions. Question number 1. When will you do a video that involves my non-Eternus Ascendant Initiate rank? Now, of course, it is very difficult to do videos that have everyone in it. There's two very big reasons why we don't really do videos with the ranks in the middle. So the very first reason is that people who are on the Initiate side of things tend to be bad at almost every aspect of the game. That's not me critiquing Initiates. I think Initiates still, are fantastic for even being able to play the game. It is a very difficult game to play, and the Eternus tend to be very good at all aspects of playing a game, right? When you get into Archon and the middle ranks, so to speak, you can have some incredible aim, but horrible shooting or whatever, so it's like, there's a lot of differentiability in Archon. And it becomes very, very difficult to balance the games out when you have 6 Archons versus having 6 Eternus or 6 Initiates. The second thing is that people don't really, how can I say this? They don't really like watching videos that are average. So people really like watching Eternus or pro videos. People really like watching Initiates because they're like, not playing almost anything correctly, right? Like, the way that I think about it is this, that when we even have a simple, like, Eternus sigil on our logos, we've done these tests, the click-through rate goes up like 3%, 4%, which is fairly significant. But, yeah, it's just very, very difficult to very difficult to make videos for this rank of players. Now, of course, there is a video format, GLUTENSNAKE Tomfoolery, which is our 30v2 videos. We have been trying to figure out a way to revive them. They have a slight problem, in my opinion, which is that they're very interesting for the first 3 minutes and then they stop being interesting. And I want to solve that problem before we do our next Tomfoolery. But we will have more Tomfooleries in the future, I promise. Where are you from? And what do you do besides Deadlock? I am from glorious Albania, the country that famously gave all of the world to the world because of its kindness and inherent love. My day job is being an AI engineer. I really enjoy also playing lots of other video games, mainly the roguelike and strategy genres. Deadlock is actually the first shooter game that I've played, but we'll talk a little bit more about Deadlock because there was another question on it. But yeah, it is, I like playing video games. I like reading a fair bit. I read less than I wanted to. I like learning about the world, religion, history, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, Deadlock is just one of the things I do. I really do enjoy it, but yeah, I'll talk more about why I enjoy Deadlock a little bit later because there was a question on that. Who is the best hero when playing against bots? I mean, you can play anything against bots, but if I had to take a guess, I think you want a hero that is self-sufficient, so a hero that can do all the parts of the killing process, so stuff like Mo is not great. If I had to really pick a hero, I would say Shiv. You could just like dive and the bots launch like 15 billion daggers on them. I think Shiv. I'm gonna go with Shiv. Are you real? Why, yes, of course I am a real human being. I am totally not Glutron 3000. I am not programmed to serve pleasurable Deadlock content. What are your credit card numbers and the 3 digits on the back? Why, yes, of course, anything for my loving fans. It is 8008 1337 6969 6767. And the CVV, of course, is 420. I hope you use it for useful purchases. When will you collab with X? So in the past, we have done a lot of collabs. There's been a whole bunch of YouTube creators and Twitch creators and just very, very good Deadlock players who have appeared in the channel. We have at least 2 collabs planned that have not been released yet, or one has not been released, one has not been filmed. Namely, one that has not been released is the collab that we did with Midnight, and we also have an upcoming collab with Andrew Chicken. So we're very excited about both of those. At the end of the day, in order for me to do a collab with someone, the other person needs to want to do a collab with me, for better or worse. But yeah, I'm hoping as the channel grows and as you're liking and subscribing, you will be able to check that box of, oh, the channel's pretty big, so therefore it's in your interest to collab with us. That sort of thing. Will there ever be mini perspectives edited in some way, shape, or form to show highlights that were initially missed from the original broadcast? So the problem is that for 99% of the videos that we've done in the channel, I am the only person editing the videos. If I were to ask several other people for their perspectives on the match, try to have players record, try to make sure that they're recording like multiple voice streams, etc, 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 and then try to like match, re-edit, it just becomes a massive editing cost on me, that because, you know, I still do work a full-time job, it becomes very, very difficult for me to do all of that. We do want to up production quality in the future, but in order for us to do stuff like that, we need more observers, we need people who are willing to help us in a lot of different ways. So if you're interested, you can always just join the Discord, you can DM me and be like, hey, I want to help you in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, we want to really up production quality. It's just that right now it is difficult for us to do so because we are very limited on resources. Do you have metal skin? Can I get through that stasis field? Oh baby, if you become a YouTube member, I'll show you a lot more than just my metal skin. Oh, you'll see the good stuff. Favorite Pokemon? So growing up, I didn't really have a Game Boy or any like Nintendo consoles. I did play a couple of the Pokemon games, specifically Fire Red or Emerald Green, I think. And I think I also played Pokemon Crystal on my console. I mean, I don't really know if I have a favorite Pokemon per se, but if I had to pick, it would probably be like my Generation 1 starter, which is Bulbasaur. You should know that GLUTENSNAKE is a Bulbasaur main. Bulba. Are you going to host more of Format X? You have not done that specific format in a while. So there were 2 separate questions, one on GLUTENSNAKE Arena, one on One Trick Championship. I wanted to address both of them, and more generic in formats in the future. We're trying to find formats that work, not just that are nice to look at, but also do well on YouTube. There's a lot of very cool ideas that are just not very good for YouTube video purposes, for better or worse. Now, specifically on GLUTENSNAKE Arena, I am hoping to revive GLUTENSNAKE Arena when the new patch hits. So when the new patch hits, when all the 6 heroes are out, I'm going to do a GLUTENSNAKE Arena with only the new heroes, and that's going to be a really cool thing. I really hope a lot of people are going to sign up for that. You should join the Discord if you want to sign up for that. For people who don't know, GLUTENSNAKE Arena is our 1v1 tournament championship. As for One Trick Championship, One Trick Championship was just very, very complex to do. The big problem with a lot of our formats is that the skill difference between Eternuses and Initiates was so big that if an Eternus 1 or an Eternus 6 showed up, like, it wouldn't be like that big of a difference. On the other hand, if you have a team of 6 Eternus 1 Wraiths and 6 Eternus 6 Paradoxes, right, the Paradoxes are going to win. And this was a very, very big problem where I had to find very frequently Eternus players who are capable of playing a hero very, very well, and are also playing it at a similar level to the people on the other team without knowing who would actually show up. Because as I'm sure you all know, about a third of the people who sign up for events, maybe sometimes even closer to half, do not show up to the event. So it was just very difficult for us to have more and more and more One Trick Championship stuff. We do want to revive One Trick Championship in the future, likely as a full tournament series, likely when we have more players, and likely when the game releases or comes into open beta. I'll have a bigger question on that in a second. What will the future of the GLUTENSNAKE channel look like when the game actually releases? So we're very, very excited about release. Release means a lot of things to different members of the community. The most important thing is a much bigger community. Our videos are going to have enough reach and for me to consider doing this in a more full-time fashion. But also we're going to have much better access, hopefully, to modding tools. We're going to have access to new maps. We're going to have access to a lot of resources that we don't have access right now. In terms of what content we're trying to do, we're trying to figure it out. I think some of our biggest hits will probably do a rehash of those with a new hit. Like, for example, the very first Eternals vs. Initiate, the Walker video, the 5v1, 6v1 stuff. Like, we're probably going to do like a rehash with the newest patch. But yeah, I don't think the content will change drastically. Probably just a little better edited, a little better balanced, and with more of me dedicating my resources to making sure that all of those videos are really, really good instead of just testing stuff out. Why do I suffer from memory loss? I have no clue. You should probably talk with a neurologist about that, or another sort of specialist. Memory loss is not very nice, and I have a very strong memory personally, so I have no clue how to really help you with it. Favorite Pokemon? Oh, 100% Flareon. Did you guys know that in terms of human companionship, Flareon is objectively the most huggable Pokemon? Yeah, you know, Flareon, definitely Flareon. Fit check. Oh, as a snake, of course, I'm shedding my skin now, getting ready for the New Year's. I have no clue what fit check even means. I mean, I don't really care. I'm doing this in like a bunch of sweatpants and like a small sweater. But yes, if you do subscribe to our Twitch, oh, you might get to see the t-shirt. To goo or not to goo? To goo or not to goo? That is the question, huh? Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous balance, or to swap heroes against a sea of billies, and by opposing end them. To dead, to lock, no more. And by a stun to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural deaths McGinnis is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To swap, to win. To win, perchance to dream. But hey, there's the rub. For in that swap of heroes, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this ascendant coil. Must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long ladder. Buff McGinnis, Yoshi. 1v1 me in chess. No. What got you into Deadlock? What kept you playing Deadlock? So, I joined Deadlock as the vast majority of the player base originally did in like August, September 2024, like a couple days after it became like open to the public. I thought the game was actually kind of fascinating. I was just seeing it, like people playing it on Twitch. I don't even remember who it was. And I was like, oh, I needed to play. I had a friend of mine, that's Floating Panda. You might have seen him around, to the extent that anyone has seen him around. And I mean, he had an invite. He invited me. I got in. We played a whole bunch of games together. I played a whole bunch of heroes in the very beginning. But I like McGinnis the most out of all of them because I was crap at shooting, because I've played shooter games before, but I've never played like a lot of shooter games, so I just played McGinnis, so the Twitch would shoot for me. And I have been, of course, playing other heroes. I've played a shit ton of Ivy. I played a fair bit of Mo and Warden, but like my main hero is, without a shadow of a doubt, McGinnis. McGinnis is just so much fun to me. Regardless, that's why I started playing Deadlock, and then I learned it was like a very, very complex game. In terms of why I decided to stay, there's a whole bunch of reasons I decided to stay. The big one was that I, like almost a year ago at this point, I started a series of tournaments called the GLUTENSNAKE's Den tournaments. I just saw that the only tournaments that were available were the very big ones. What was it called? It wasn't Night Shift then. It was something else that I've already forgot the name of. That's how ubiquitous Night Shift really is. And I think that... Oh my god, why can I not remember? Deadlock Fight Night? Deadlock Fight Night, that's what it was. So yeah, Fight Night was like the only big series of tournaments still happening. And I was like, oh, I'll just host a small series of tournaments for an 8. It was really funny, and it was just go to show how supportive the community was. I was like, oh, I'm gonna cast, observe, do everything by myself. I set like a small $100 price pool. A couple people joined. Melee Creeps joined, notably, who is, you know, one of the teams still exists in an A. I started hosting a bunch more of those tournaments, and then I had the idea about the Eternals vs. Initiate series. And I thought the Eternals vs. Initiate was like, you know, like a cute little gimmick, but then it became the big thing that I was doing. I continued doing the GLUTENSNAKE Den series of tournaments well into the summer, trying to do like once a month or so. We managed to get like a small sponsorship from the community to continue hosting them, but sadly the sponsorship ended, so I couldn't continue hosting them. And of course the GLUTENSNAKE channel became really big, comparatively speaking, to the GLUTENSNAKE's Den tournaments. So yeah, I fully focused on that. I do want to at some point restart the GLUTENSNAKE's Den, but it would require a lot of stuff from staff to funding to making good production. The production of GLUTENSNAKE's Den was always a little bit mediocre, in my opinion. I was the organizer. I thought we could do a lot better, but like, yeah, it's gonna be a much bigger effort, so that's the big reason why I haven't done it. I do think that I do want to help the community flourish. A lot of the players who played in the first tournaments were the players who also played in the very first Eternals vs. Initiate. It's always funky to look at the very first Eternals vs. Initiate and see the names of those players. But yeah, I think the reason why I kept this because I really enjoy the game. I think it has a lot of depth. I think it is a very cool game, and I'm also very invested in the community. I'm making content for it. This game's success and my success are inherently linked. But yeah, we're gonna have to see what this game looks like. I really hope that it thrives because I really appreciate what kind of game this is. It's a game that managed to attract someone who has played RTS and roguelikes and like strategy stuff for the vast majority of his life, and suddenly he's playing a shooter. I've never played a MOBA before. I've played like no games of League and 2 games of Dota 1. Like, that's how old I am. I'm 26. Out of all the ranks you've been in, which one was the worst experience? Okay, so I'll preface this by saying that, like, it's a team game. The nature of team games is such, and as a person who really played a lot of 1v1 or, like, versus AI type games, the nature of team games is that sometimes your team is just gonna suck, and there's nothing that you can do about it. My personal opinion is that it's incredibly dependent on the hero that I'm playing. For example, I'll give a couple examples. When I was playing Ivy a lot back in the Earn days, so for people who might have forgotten, Ivy was capable of like flying the Earn from one end of the map to another very quickly. A bug that thankfully has been patched, and Viscus still can do it, but like, who gives a shit about Viscus, am I right? Anyhow, I used to do that a lot, and I loved playing in lower ranks, because in lower ranks, nobody would respond, and I get like 3 or 4 free Earns. And that would be fantastic, because I played like Spirit Ivy, so I was very dependent on getting towards the end game. I wasn't like playing Gun Ivy, because, you know, with Spirit Ivy, you're like really focused on ult, so getting those Earns would really help fix the difference. In terms of other heroes like McGinnis, the higher level of lobby, the better, because I find that McGinnis works really well when there's team coordination. Like, you drop a green circle on the ground that helps with 3% health increase, and then you don't have your team step on it. That's the reality of playing McGinnis in lower ranks. It's a circle that means you survive more. Like, why the hell would you not step on it? Nobody gives a shit in lower ranks, right? So it's very rank dependent question. I'm personally gonna say though, one thing that I really don't enjoy about the upper ranks is that it is very difficult for me to play like esoteric builds. Like, if I wanted to play Punch McGinnis or some bullshit like that, if I was Emissary, I would be able to very easily play it and just like test it out. But if I play Punch McGinnis in the Senate lobby, it would be reported by 11 people for griefing. So I try not to do that. I don't really have Smurfs, so I try not to, you know, use Smurfs, because I'm still like a Senate 5, I think, right now. I don't think it's fair for a person who is a Senate 5 to play in lower rank lobbies, even if it's like with meme builds. But what can you do? Anyhow, final answer. All ranks suck, some for different heroes, some for different reasons. If I had to like really pick like a hell, whatever old low Archon was, because I was stuck in that for a little bit. When will you ban Bredrolius? Trust me, I wake up every day dreaming of it. The moment that he actually breaks a real rule, oh boy, am I gonna ban him. Or at least time him out for like a week or something. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Please, Brett, break a rule. Thank you. When will you upload more stuff to more GLUTENSNAKE? Oh, more GLUTENSNAKE. What a channel, huh? Yeah, the big problem that I have is that there hasn't been a lot of stuff to upload that has meaning, like side stuff. It's just been very, very difficult. The channel almost gets no views because it's mainly like dedicated people. I do want to revive the channel. The channel isn't dead. I'll still upload stuff in it infrequently, but I do want to add more stuff to the channel. It's not like, oh, I've given up on it, at least for the short term, like One Trick Championship, for example. Will you ever make non-Deadlock content? It is likely that at some point, yes. Right now, I'm really focused on Deadlock. We're focused on this release. But, of course, a lot of YouTube channels, like, I really hope Deadlock is going to be a big game and becomes a really, really big game. But it would be amiss for me to just, like, never, like, pinky promise swear I'm never doing any sort of non-Deadlock content. I think it's just not a smart idea for me to say that. I haven't had any ideas or any games that I've been, like, so attracted to that I really want to make content for them right now. I probably will at some point in the future, though. You're gonna see some good old StarCraft 2 content here at some point, I swear. What the hell does the Bud Light React mean? Bud Light. So, the story of Bud Light starts with the very first ability draft. That's actually when we met Artemon, who is one of the main modders of the channel now. But, yeah, that's when he was just, like, the ability draft guy. And we did our very first ability draft game. It was really fun. We really, really enjoyed it. And in the comments, Vegas, who used to be in Hydra Nation at the time, was like, oh, I'd love to play ability draft. So we played ability draft with Vegas and Hydra Nation versus Wick's team at that time. It didn't have a name. I think the team disbanded a little bit after that. But yeah, I mean, it was a very, very cool format. And that encouraged me to reach out to Buff Enjoyers, which were at the time called Virtus Pro, and well, Buff Enjoyers doesn't even exist anymore. So yeah, like the Virtus Pro team, which used to be Buff Enjoyers and then again became Buff Enjoyers, versus Abraham's, which was at the time one of the top 3 teams in EU. So Abraham's versus Buff Enjoyers. It was a really big stream. We had like 150 people watching. Everybody wanted to see the ability draft and see some very good players play it. It was actually the very last televised quote-unquote game of Michael S. He still plays, I have been told. I don't know how true that is, on an alt, but he doesn't really play for a team anymore. But yeah. Anyhow, back to the thing. People were joking in the thing about like how big of the event this was compared to our usual like 20-30 people that we were getting on Twitch at the time, and we still get on Twitch for our recordings. And we started making jokes that it's because we had sponsors, and we were doing a couple of sponsors, but at some point we were like, oh, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Bud Light. Bud Light, press exclamation point Bud Light in the chat to get a free case of Bud Light. And then everybody was pressing it, and it wasn't doing anything because there was no Bud Light command, nor was Bud Light sponsoring us. I don't really know how alcoholic drink sponsorships really work. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. The point is that that became a joke, and that joke later became an emote, and then we've been starting using that emote for reacting to every silly little thing. It's like the server emote. I mean, like, it's a really cool thing. I like that we have like in-server jokes already. I've been told that Toe Toucher is going to prepare an iceberg of every single GLUTENSNAKE community event and meme, and I'm going to be talking about the iceberg. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to wait for him to back. What's your favorite item from the community item mod? So the GLUTENSNAKE community has made a list of like 55 fake items or something like that, and I think a lot of those items are incredibly cool. I looked at them today, and I think one of my favorite ones was a specific item that I'm going to show on screen right now. It's an item that allows you to add the Lash distance thing to abilities, and I think that's just so valuable. I mean, I can imagine Sinclair would love something like this, McGinnis ult, Talon Arrow, Snipes, etc, etc, etc. I think that's going to be really, really cool item, if we can implement it, which we probably can, because modding is hell right now. Anyhow, the game above is ending, and so is this Q&A. Thank you so much for being here. Special thanks to Ozzy for giving me this mod? I don't even know what to call it. This hellhole of an experience that you can see on screen. I really do appreciate all of you guys. May you have a happy, joyous new year. I hope all your goals are realized, and have a good day, folks.